What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some insane battles in the Fantasy Cup running a triple Shadow Magnet Boy meme team with XL Magnemite, Magneton and Magnezone. Now obviously we all joke about it being the Azumarill Cup, so a team like this doesn't seem so bad, but the second most common Pokemon in this meta is probably Flygon, a Pokemon that triple resists electric type damage and hits for double super effective damage against my entire team. So as you can imagine, getting wins with this team was pretty damn hard. My aim was basically to see if I could beat at least one team with a Flygon in it, but I'm not going to spoil if I was successful or not. You'll just have to watch the video. I'm running Thundershock on my Magnemite in the lead just to get to charge boost a little bit quicker and potentially force an early shield, and then Magneton and Magnezone both have Volt Switch in the back for some more fast move pressure. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What has been your favourite limited cup we've ever had in the Go Battle League? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, and the very first battle I did with this team, and probably the worst thing we could possibly see in the lead, Galarian Stunfisk, gonna resist all of my moves, hitting for double super effective damage with these Mud Shots. If they want to, they can no-shield both charge boosts and fully Mud Shot farm me down, and yeah, we're not going to be in a great position, but we go for the second Magnet Bomb. We do actually get them fairly low, and the opponent throws an alignment there, which is huge for me, as we get a second Volt Switch in for free, and I will make it to a Magnet Bomb before they make it to the next charge move. So we go for the Magnet Bomb there, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and the opponent overfarms and throws on the CMP Tide. So even though this is a nightmare lead for us, we might actually have some play here. I'm now going to let the Magneton go down. The opponent can just go for a Rock Slide, taking us out. But here what I'm going to do is come in with my Magnezone, go for one Volt Switch, wait for 2 turns, swap, try to catch the charge move. But unfortunately, the opponent holds onto their energy. They can just go for a charge move now. They go for the Rock Slide bait, of course. But then they swap into Azumarill, and we've actually got some play here. But I think I needed to farm to back-to-back Wild Charges. The opponent going to go for an Ice Beam straight away. We do actually just barely live that, so I can go for the Wild Charge. Wild Charge will be one-shot in the Azumarill. They come in with a Tapu Fini, and I know this is game over, but I'm going to go for the Wild Charge, one-shot in the Tapu Fini, and look how close we made that game. Even though that was literally the worst thing we could possibly see in the lead, we still made it incredibly close. But GG's to that opponent there. Into next game, we see Alolan Sandslash in the lead. I'm just going to go for a Magnet Bomb straight away. The opponent might not understand how much damage that is going to do, and at this point, I'm just going to shield this up. Typically, I would let the Magnemite go down, but here they are one away from the next charge move, so I might as well go for the Thundershock farm down. The opponent comes in with a Tapu Fini. We're going to go straight for the discharge, then swap into my Magneton here. Going to go for the discharge straight away once again, and I'm hoping it is going to be another ABB style team with 2 Water Fairies in the back. We grab the final shield, the opponent overfarms here, and all I have to do is let my Magnezone sweep. They go for a Surf, gonna be taking me out. They will make it to another Surf up against my Magnezone before we get the full Volt Switch farm down, but the fact that they're staying in here gives me hope against the back line. They go for the Surf, and it is going to be Azumarill in the back, and the opponent is just going to concede the match there. So GG's to that opponent there. Into next game, we see a Magnemite into Turtonator, so also an awful lead. Completely walls the energy as well, so even a Magnet Bomb is not going to do much damage here, but we're going to go for it anyways. I didn't want to take a risk and throw it on 7, so I go for 6 Thundershocks, go for the Magnet Bomb, and we actually grab a shield there. So the opponent down a shield, but it doesn't matter as they will get the shield back pretty much straight away, but the opponent not going to throw. They're going to go for another Incinerate farm down, so we got both shields here. We now swap into our Shadow Magnezone, and I think I make a little bit of a mistake here. Of course, they are 100 energy. They go for a Dragon Pulse. I think I should have overfarmed here because I already take the Incinerate damage there, and it doesn't quite take them out. They swap into Tapu Fini. And yeah, if we'd have just gone for the extra Volt Switch instead, we still wouldn't have taken any extra damage since they would have thrown a charge move, and then I could have made it to a charge move up against the Tapu Fini, but even then, I still think it was game over. So GG's to that opponent there. Not a lot we could have done up against a Turtonator. Into next game, we see Registeel in the lead, so I'm going to go for a Discharge just before they make it to a Focus Blast. This is going to do over half the health of the Registeel, which is pretty crazy considering it is a neutral move, but we are going to shield the Focus Blast. They then swap into Tapu Fini. Very strange swap here, and instead of swapping out, I'm just going to stay in, basically force the opponent to throw a Surf as soon as they get there, as they will just barely outpace me, but that's fine with me. Magnemite going to go down. We're going to come in with the Magneton, go for a discharge straight away, throwing before they make it to the Surf, and the opponent is going to let the discharge go through, And now we can see the opponent is going to come back in with their Registeel, and I feel like it's probably another ABB style team with Azumarill in the back. We're going to go for the discharge, taking out the Reggie, and it is Azumarill in the back. We can just go straight for a discharge, probably going to grab a shield, and then I will swap immediately into my Shadow Magnezone, and this is going to be game over for the opponent, and the opponent is going to concede the match as we make it to a wild charge, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into next game we see a Shadow Dragonite in the lead. The opponent's going to safe swap into Azumarill, so really interesting. We're going to go for a discharge, and I probably should have overfarmed just a little bit more here, but I'm going to swap instantly into my Magneton. They're probably running Hydro Pump, so I'm going to respect the damage here. Use my shield as they do full send a Hydro Pump, and the Volt Switch damage actually KOs, so I don't get that big of a farm down. They come back in with their Dragonite, and they are running Steel Wing, so that is double resisted by the Steel and Electric typing of the Magneton. They do just barely outpace me to the next charge move, and the opponent goes for a superpower, one-shotting us, but they debuff their attack and their defense. So I come in with my Magnezone, and they've got a Galarian Stunfisk in the bag. There is nothing we can do here. Just gonna let the move go through. If they bait me, that's fine. Doesn't matter. They can farm me down, but they full send the Earthquake anyways, and it's game over. So I just concede the match there. So GG's to that opponent there. Into next game we see Escavalier in the lead, so not ideal for us whatsoever. I'm just going to go for a discharge throwing just before they make it to the next charge move, and discharge goes unshielded. We swap and we snipe with a Volt Switch from my Shadow Magneton, and then they come in with Azumarill, and this is now looking really good for us. Horror lead, but discharge, gonna grab a shield from the opponent, and we are going to overfarm. The opponent throws just before we make it to the next discharge. I'm gonna shield up the Play Rough here, and they will need a few more bubbles to make it to the next charge move, so I go for good timing, throwing after 2 Volt Switches, go for discharge number 2, grabbing a shield, and the opponent overfarms too much. We make it to a 3rd discharge in time, taking out the Azumarill, and they've got Galarian Weezing in the back, and this is going to be game over. I'm going for the wild charge immediately, and even though it's neutral damage, it easily one-shots the Weezing, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into next game we see Shadow Magnemite into Shadow Flygon, and if you're wondering what do we do up against Flygon, well, this is what we do. We stay in with our Magnemite. I think after this first battle, I do try and throw after 6. Try and throw on a CMP tie, and if the opponent does let the Magnet Bomb go through, that does about 90% of their health. But unfortunately, it's a Shadow Flygon. They're going to be shielding up, and now, yeah, we can't do much here. We're going to go for the Magnet Bomb, grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and this is basically what happened against Flygon in the lead. They typically just double shield, and there is literally nothing we can do. I'm going to come in with my Magnezone. I'm just going to let the first move go through. They're probably going to bait, but it doesn't matter. 2 Dragon Claws with a couple more Mud Shots will be enough damage to take us out, and I will be fully 1v3'd by a Shadow Flygon in this battle, and there's literally nothing I can do about it either. So GG's to that opponent. That was how a lot of battles panned out. But into the next game, another Flygon, this time not Shadow, so maybe they will let the Magnet Bomb go through. We are going to throw on the potential CMP tie, but the opponent recognizing that they can just shield probably and fully farm me down. They actually no shield that, but unfortunately because it is not a Shadow, it doesn't really put them into range where we can farm them down either. And then I tried to call a bait there. I felt like that was my only win condition. And unfortunately, the opponent actually goes for a Scorching Sands. They're going to go for a second Scorching Sands, but then they swap into Whimsicott, and oh my gosh, they are giving me a win condition here. I'm going to go straight for the Mirror Shot. Mirror Shot goes unshielded. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite take them out. A second Mirror Shot also won't quite take them out either, but the opponent shields that up. So I'm going to shield this up. The opponent is going to go and full send a Moonblast there. We're now going to overfarm in this matchup, go for 2 extra Volt Switches, go for the Mirror Shot. Mirror Shot will be enough to take out the Whimsicott, and the opponent is going to have a Galarian Weezing in the back, so we can still potentially win this. I'm going to swap, try to catch the overheat. I'm not able to do so, but we make it to a Magnet Bomb on the Shadow Magnemite. Now, all we have to do here is not throw the charge move straight away. Flygon was energy dry. I didn't realize this at the time. I completely forgot, and if I just went for 1 extra Volt Switch, I could have beat this team with a Flygon in it, but I absolutely screwed that up, and GG's to that opponent there. But into the next game, we see a Shadow Dragonite in the lead, once again running Steel Wing, so very nice for us. I'm going to go for the Magnet Bomb here, throwing on the potential CMP tie, and this would do absolutely huge damage. It probably would, well, it definitely would one-shot the Shadow Dragonite here. We're going to go for another charge move. They are still over-farming, grabbing both shields, and I'm really happy with this. And funny story, I was actually watching, I believe it's a Zionic video with the Steel Wing Shadow Dragonite, and I actually watched this at the exact same time as playing out this battle, so I was already pretty confident it was going to be Lucario and Azumarill in the back, so I know I can go straight for the discharge, one-shotting Lucario, gonna swap into my Shadow Magnezone, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into next game we see Shadow Magnemite into Galarian Weezing, so very good lead matchup for us, but the opponent's going to swap into an Escavalier. This is absolutely awful for us to see. Going to go for the discharge, hope they let it go through, but of course they do shield it up. We're now going to swap into our Shadow Magnezone. Not great, they're probably going to bait with like an Acid Spray or an Aerial Ace. It is the Aerial Ace, we could have lived that, but I mean, whatever. We're going to go for the Mirror Shot here. At least grab the final shield from the opponent, which is good. And we do get 2 Volt Switches off, so I'm going to have to shield, of course, but I will be able to fully Volt Switch, farm them down with my Magneton before they make it to back-to-back charge moves, which is huge for me. Then I've just got to hope that we can beat whatever is in the back. So we get the farm down. Let's see what is in the back. The opponent is going to come in with their Galarian Weezing, and I make a huge mistake here. I expected the opponent to swap out there, and I didn't want to throw a Magnet Bomb because I thought it was going to be a Azumarill in the back. But what a dumb decision by me, because obviously I needed to throw 2 charge moves up against the Azu anyways, and now here I farm 2 the back-to-back moves. This is a resisted play rough, but it takes me out there, and I could have easily won that game, but I completely threw it away. So GG's to that opponent there. Into next game, Haxorus in the lead. Not a lot we can do other than hope that the opponent, for whatever reason, no shields the Magnet Bomb. And they do no shield the Magnet Bomb, and that is huge for me. We're going to swap instantly into our Shadow Magneton, and the opponent comes in with a Azumarill, so this is looking really good for us. Even though, once again, that was a very bad lead. We can now go for a discharge. Looks like we throw on the CMP tie, and the opponent going to shield up their Azumarill. We are obviously going to shield this as well, as the opponent's going to go for a Play Rough, so probably not running Ice Beam there, otherwise they probably would have just baited with the Ice Beam. But we can now go for a Discharge. Discharge will grab the final shield from the opponent, and we can just safely let this move go through. It is very clear that they're weak to the Magneton in the back, so we can come in with the Shadow Magnezone, and we will be able to fully farm them down, so the opponent just concedes the match there. So GG's to that opponent there. Into next game we see Azumarill in the lead, so very good lead for us, but the opponent probably going to swap into something that is very difficult to beat, like a Lucario. We do at least make it to a discharge, so I'm going to fire off straight away, grab a shield from the opponent, we swap into our Shadow Magneton, and I didn't realise this, but we go down to 6 counters, so I don't even get off a charge move, and oh my gosh, this is just now looking really bad for us. I'm going to shield up Lucario, probably going to have to double shield here as they go for Blaze Kicks. At least it is Blaze Kick and not Power Up Punch. But either way, gonna have to double shield, and I will be able to go 40 Volt Switch farm down, but I'm very low here, so let's see what we want to do. The opponent comes back in with their Azumarill. We're gonna go for 2 Volt Switches, throw the Wild Charge here, and Wild Charge is gonna do huge damage. They let it go through. We try to snipe with the Magnemite, and unfortunately, they've got Registeel in the back, and Magnemite has a very low HP stat, so even though we are resisting lock-ons, it looks like it's doing huge damage there. And they're able to get the full lock-on farm down, come out with a Focus Blast loaded, easily one-shot in the Magnezone. Even from full health, that would have taken us out, but unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to that opponent there. Into next game, we see opponent save swapping into a Shadow Flygon. This is awful for me. We're going to go for the Magnet Bomb, grab a shield, and then we're going to swap into our Shadow Magneton. Now, yeah, up against Flygons, they basically always double shield, so we're going to go for the Magnet Bomb here, hope that for whatever reason they let it go through, and the opponent is actually going to let it go through, which is huge for me, but that probably means they've got another very strong answer, and they do. They've got Fire Fang Marwile. We don't make it to a charge move, and this is just game over. We can go in with the Shadow Magnezone. Gonna have to shield a Power Up Punch. They're gonna ramp up their Fire Fang damage. We have to just hope they let this go through, but they're not going to do so. Very easy win condition here. Just shield up the Shadow Mirror Shot, go for a full Fire Fang farm down, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But into this game we see a Flygon in the lead once again, so once again not ideal. We're going to go for 5 here. The opponent actually doesn't farm all the way up to a Scorching Sand, so I do at least live a Dragon Claw. We can now go for a Magnet Bolt, and then I'm instantly going to swap into my Shadow Magneton here, just so they don't get 1 extra Mud Shot in, but honestly it doesn't make a difference here as we are 1 turn behind, so they still get to the charge move before us anyway, so yeah, I don't really think it was necessary, but we're now going to go for a Magnet Bomb. Magnet Bomb grabs the final shield from the opponent, and the opponent actually throws on alignment here, so I will get the charge move through, so I'm going to shield, throw the Magnet Bomb, and the opponent swaps into Galarian Stunfisk. Are you kidding me? Fuck. For God's sake, we are now just going to reveal that it is Magnezone in the back and then concede the match there. But GG's to that opponent. Into the next game, Lucaria in the lead, and we just cannot catch a break right now. Gonna go for the discharge here. Hopefully they just let this go through, but I doubt it. And they do correctly shield up. We're gonna come in with the Magnezone, as it is a little bit bulkier here. We gotta hope that they're not running Power Punch, otherwise this is instantly game over. But the opponent goes for a Blaze Kick. We can now make it to a Mirror Shot. I'm expecting a shield, so I go for the bait, but they actually let that go through. But we do at least get the Volt Switch farm down at the same time. And it's another Galarian Stunfisk. Oh my gosh. This is not going so well for us. But I think into possibly the final battle of this video, we see a Flygon in the lead. So, yeah, not looking too good. We're going to go and try and CMP tie. But once again, the opponent recognizing they can probably just shield and farm me all the way down. So we're now going to swap into our Shadow Magneton, playing out very similarly to other battles. There's not a lot we can do here. We just have to hope that for whatever reason, they let this go through. But no, they're going to go for a full Mudshot farm down. And I don't think 2 Mirror Shots will take them out either, so this is definitely game over. We're going to come in, try and force them to throw their energy, but they still go for the Mudshot farm down. And the opponent's now going to swap into Azumarill for whatever reason. And now they're just going to concede the match there, so they definitely just gave me the free win. They felt very bad for my team, but yeah, thank you for that win there. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way, you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.